presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And they can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
Oh, it feels like a fall Friday, doesn't it?
Man.
Yes. Jerry Allen is here. Mike Jorgensen is here. I'm Joey Mack.
Just to walk in the room, didn't it feel good?
It feels like a fall Saturday.
Hey, guys.
Friday.
Yeah.
Seriously, though, this morning it was like 38 degrees when I walked the dog.
Yeah.
And then it got sunny as the day progressed, and I just went, this feels like football weather. It feels like football weather. Going to be at Autzen Stadium tomorrow, 1 o'clock. We'll preview the spring game for you. All the details are on GoDucks.com. NFL draft as well. Oregon baseball and Oregon softball also with some critical games this weekend that we'll tell you about. The Star is officially open at PK Park. You'll see it if you come out to PK Park.
Where is it?
Right next to Oregon's dugout near Foul with the W territory.
Perfect.
As Mark Wazakowski would say, the sports bar right next to the beer garden. Seriously, that's what Waz calls it. It works out.
Okay. Yeah. What a weekend, huh?
It's going to be a great weekend.
Everything going on.
What a spring. Great
yeah.
weekend.
What a spring. Yeah.
Really busy Saturday. But first, though, tonight, Oregon baseball. It's a big one against Penn State. Ducks hoping to build on some momentum with a nice win over the Beavers. A 5:45 pregame show. I'm going to be honest, guys. Penn State is a team that Oregon should beat. Penn State can hit. Penn State has won 12 games this year, though. Oregon's closing in on 30, just to give you an idea. Oregon softball as well this weekend. Tonight at the Jane, 6 o'clock senior weekend begins against Ohio State. A couple of 6 o'clock first pitches here in Eugene. Also, Oregon acrobatics and tumbling against Quinnipiac. The national semifinals are at 4:30 here today as the Ducks look to get to the national championship again. Big Ten women's golf championship in Glendale, California happening today.
Not Glendale, Oregon.
That's right.
Glendale. Or Arizona. I thought you were going to say Arizona.
Yeah. There are so many doppelganger town names in the state of Oregon. There's a Phoenix, Oregon.
Yes.
Yeah. Portland, some would argue.
Yeah. Ontario.
Yeah. Ontario. Doppelganger
had to bring that up.
Ontario.
Not many Grants passes around. No.
Yeah,
Grant didn't pass through many areas other than Grant's pass.
But also, I mean, names of towns like Bend and Eugene, great town names in this state.
Yeah.
Great town names. So a lot going on postseason. And then, of course, wear green at Autzen Stadium tomorrow. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. We'll go on the air at 1 o'clock. I'm happy to report that we will go on the air right after the guys have gotten shivers down their spines from the two F-15s that will fly over.
Yeah, we're going to be out on the deck. I'm going to be late coming in for this sideline.
It's highly possible that it's going to go
we'll
like
miss
this.
The kickoff.
Now to Autzen Stadium. Here's Jerry Allen. Well, actually, sorry, guys. It's Joey Mack here. Jerry is watching.
Jerry,
the
Jorgie, everybody's outside watching this. I got to ride in one of those. That's why I'm so excited. Yes, I went with the Blue Angels in that aircraft.
Oh, that's right.
Did they have Sarge?
Sarge is here.
What are you doing?
Oh, my God.
He's here. I mean, this is like Christmas in the middle of the year, isn't it?
It is a fall Friday.
Oh, my. Sarge.
Oh, what's he got?
Rock, man.
Concessions, of course, will be open at
look at that.
Autzen. Oh, Buffalo sliders for you, Jerry.
Oh, Sarge.
Wow.
You're the man.
What a time to be alive.
Wow.
God
bless you, my son. I'm shocked. I wasn't ready for this.
Oh, my God. Look at the amount of sauces he brought.
I tell you what. Oh, where are you going to put those?
I have never felt so seen as right now with John Sargent bringing me a bucket
Look at those.
full of sauces.
We can have a food fight with those. What's the yellow?
Mustard.
Oh, mustard. Okay.
Oh, nerds. Nerd gummy clusters.
Oh, sorry.
M&Ms. Yeah, thank you, Christine.
He
Thank
is
you.
amazing.
Yeah.
They are amazing.
John Sargent. Oh, I didn't turn Sarge's spotlight on. I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared for him. Man.
Okay, you
How
guys
many
talk.
sauces did you give me?
We're going to eat. Hey, Jerry, just
Wow.
real quick.
You give me 24 sauces.
It'll clear your nose. Okay?
Yeah, 24 sauces.
Real quick.
24. So the voice that you hear is one John Sargent, everybody. He is the head of hangar management here at the University of Oregon Athletic Department. In other words, he's the director of concessions, food and beverage services. I like director of hangar management better.
Whatever you want to call me, I'll bring the food.
the guy that brings the food. So, concessions this weekend, huh?
Yeah, we have about 17 food trucks on site.
Nice.
Open at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Sweet.
Out in the east parking lot. Then stadium opens at 11:30. Concessions will be open. We will have hot dogs. We will have chicken. We will have beer.
You will
sodas.
have barbecue sauce.
Yes, absolutely.
You will get my vote, and it's the Friday that you come in with beer.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
With a day like tomorrow, that's a big day for concessions for a spring game too, isn't it?
Concessions for spring game is so strange because we could get 10,000 people if it rains.
Right.
And we can get 40,000 people if
There
it's
you
really
go.
nice. So it's a hard game to plan
But
for.
it's going to be, let's see, latest forecast, 65 degrees and sunny at kickoff.
It's going to be great tomorrow.
Yeah, perfect.
But on Monday, you don't know it's going to be great.
Right.
So
Right.
planning can be difficult. We've actually closed concession stands during the week knowing that they're not going to be very busy and don't want to waste the volunteer group's time or our time or the wasted food. So spring game's always been a difficult
It's like the entire weekend. I mean, that starts tonight over at baseball.
Right.
Baseball
Autzen,
and softball tonight.
And then Jane Sanders, and then it just continues on and on and on. I mean,
Good weekend. Also, I'm reminded, go ahead, those of you that are watching the stream, cut to Sarge's camera there. I'm reminded that Jorgie's Santa hat is still in the studio.
Oh, look at
It's
that.
in the corner behind
Nice.
Sarge.
I like that.
We've been
Thank you.
just
Good
see,
eyes.
It is Christmas
It is.
in April.
In the middle of the year almost.
Jorgie's
why I
Santa
brought you
hat's
food.
still
Perfect.
here. That's so great. That's, yep.
Good eyes.
Sarge, what else should fans know on your front, huh?
I don't have a lot. Just come out and let's be loud. Let's have fun.
Love it.
Root for both teams.
That's right. Good luck to the Combat Ducks and the Fighting Ducks this week.
You know, the Ducks are winning tomorrow.
The Ducks are winning tomorrow. You hope that it's a 6-0 diamond weekend, and
That would be-
I guess you go 2-0. Well, offense wins and defense wins for football.
Volleyball's got a game tonight.
Yeah,
against-
volleyball, spring game, matchup tonight.
Soccer.
Yeah,
So
soccer.
all kinds of stuff this weekend. So stay busy and get out there and support your Ducks.
Well, we feel very supported
Look at that.
by John Sargent today. What do I do with these?
What?
Eat them. You need one for every fry and one for every chicken strip. So
Well,
you
look,
told me how much you eat, so I want to make sure that you're
long
taken care of.
You don't want to run out of sauces, okay? Everyone, this long-running debate. But look, you get a chicken tender basket from Sarge. There's 4 big chicken tenders. There's a lot of fries underneath. How many sauces do you need?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot. Yeah.
I want 1 per tender and at least 2 for the fries.
What is the refrigeration life?
On the sauces?
Yeah.
I would say they would last 2 or 3 weeks in the
Okay.
refrigerator, so you're good.
Plenty of time.
Here?
Hey, I know all
Take
of
a
the
couple
interns that like to show up on Fridays during
Right.
football
There you
season
go.
will be here
Yeah.
now. I'm looking straight at Christine, the only one that's here today.
Guilty.
But, she goes, "Oh, it's spring football. I bet Sarge will be here." See?
Well, she's right. So she came in.
And nothing wrong
Nice
with that.
job.
Look,
Somebody-
some would
That's smart.
some
That's
would
smart.
say that that's a wise decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wise decision.
Right?
That's
That's a
thinking.
veteran move. Sarge, you're the best.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Go
Thank
Ducks!
you.
Go Ducks.
Thank you.
Nice. I don't even know. Like, that's 24 sauces, folks. And he gave me a variety.
Hey, wait a minute. He didn't just give those to you.
I think it was intentional for just me, but
Can I borrow one or two?
you could borrow 1 or 2. Here you go. Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Thank you, Sarge. John Sargent. I got to tell everyone, all I said was to Sarge in a text just, hey, public service announcement, Jerry and Jorgie will be on the show on Friday. And then this happens.
go
Thank you,
Ducks.
Sarge. Concessions will be open. Admission, by the way, to the spring game is free, but while we're talking about food, the gate's opening at 11:30. Fans are encouraged, again, to bring non-perishable food items to donate to Food for Lane County. It really goes a long way for Food for Lane County. It's one of, I think, the better partnerships that we have in our community. The spring game presented by LTD. Fans can also donate online. GoDucks.com has you covered, a link that you can click on there. Students are encouraged to sit in sections 7 and 8. Sunglasses will be provided from American Campus Communities while supplies last. And I know that that's why Jerry wore his sunglasses in the studio today.
That's right. I had my eyes dilated. So right now I couldn't see a big pile of elephant poop. It was right in front of me. I'm like, what's that?
Oh. Limited parking passes are still available. There's a few left. You can go to GoDucks.com. The spring game info section that you'll see there on the front page, you can find them there. Parking opens at 10 a.m. Fans, I think you're going to want to get there early. 1 o'clock kickoff. Yeah. All of the passes are digital, and I've had a few people ask me about ADA parking. It is available on site, first come, first serve, $20 cash. It's a cash-only process here for the spring game for ADA parking. Fans utilize those shuttles as well. They start at 10 a.m. at Valley River Center, but a reminder, they will end at 4 o'clock. So those of you that are maybe going to baseball at 4 o'clock, don't take the shuttle. Because otherwise you're going to be walking back to VRC.
Or carpooling with somebody that doesn't know you. Right?
That's right. That's right. The pregame Fan Fest will also get underway at 10 a.m. In the Autzen Plaza, the PK Plaza, and Pat Bay Field. Tons of activations for the United States Armed Forces. To the note that Jorgie made before, it's a real honoring of the military, and that's another key continued tradition now for the spring game, and I love that we do that. 11:30, the Autzen Stadium gates will open. The national anthem will be accompanied by those F-15 flyovers, food trucks, as Sarge mentioned. It will be 4 15-minute quarters, guys, things that I think matter mostly for people like us. A running clock, except for scores, penalties, change of possession, and the last 3 minutes of each half with a 12-minute halftime. The Combat Ducks versus the Fighting Ducks. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, the rosters have officially been released. And the font is so small that I don't know that anyone's going to be able to read it on the live stream. But the Combat Ducks against the Fighting Ducks. The Combat Ducks will be in black uniforms. The Fighting Ducks will be in white uniforms. And then a little bit of news. Bo Nix actually had something come up with the Broncos, and so Penei Sewell is coming off the bench to be a guest coach.
Oh, outstanding.
Yeah. So Penei Sewell, hey, nice sub in for Bo Nix. No word yet if Bo gave any play calls to Penei Sewell, though. Tez Johnson's going to be back as well, but we don't get the brotherly love, the battle, anymore. Halftime will also feature a number of really special moments honoring our military. The Oregon Spirit Team and the Duck will be in attendance. And I think I covered all of it before the spring game gets rolling.
It's all good.
What do you guys want to see at the spring game? I always ask everybody, like, where do your eyes go for the spring game? Where are your eyes going, Jerry?
You know, I'm not really focusing in on any one person or group. I think the D-line's going to be fine.
Wait, I got to tell you, can we get a screenshot of just this? Can we just get a still of that?
What? Of what?
Just address camera and smile, will you, Jerry? That's perfect. Thank you. Continue, please. Thank you.
You guys are so cruel. This is going to come back to haunt me later on. I know it is. No, I just want to see everybody. The transfers. You look at those guys that they have to have an impact right away because that's why you bring them in. The freshmen. We didn't think that De'Aaron Hill and Jordan Davidson were going to be that much of an impact as true freshmen. So which true freshman will step up? It's not going to be equitable because they're splitting the teams and some quarterbacks here, wide receivers all over there. So in general, Jorgie, I just want to see a fun game with some big plays defensively and offensively.
And everybody stay healthy.
Yes.
Well, always number one. Always number one.
Depth development for me. I mean, that's really what you know who the name guys are.
Yeah.
On offense and defense. You know who the key players are going to be on that first line of regulars when Boise State comes to town next year in September. But when they do come to town, it's going to be the development of that depth because it's the depth in the heart of the season and towards the tail of the season that really carried Oregon through the season and into the playoffs.
Boy, isn't that true.
And whether it's a wide receiver position, whether it's offensive line, whether it's defensive line, whatever it's going to be, to me it's the development of the next line of guys that, unfortunately either graduate or decide to transfer. It's filling in those gaps because you've got to have depth in this league and to run the course of a whole season, you've got to have that depth develop. And we'll also see, Jerry, I agree with you. I think it's the young guys. Sometimes there's some young guys that show up and they catch on quick. They have great instincts. They have a great feel for the offense. The Finneys of the world, like on defense, maybe a Hudson Lewis or somebody else on offense. You have guys who are going to have to emerge and almost act and play like they're second or third year guys when they're just true freshmen. So it's just that combination of things, and to see the evolution of it, I'm really excited about.
I also think too, like the young guys catching and the depth development part of it too, like on the offensive line, talk about a lot of like redshirt sophomores, right? That have kind of grown, and maybe we've seen them now in a couple different camps, both fall and spring, and now it's those guys' opportunity to shine as they're more comfortable in the system. I think, look, the NFL draft, right? By the way, congratulations to two Ducks that are now going to the NFL, and Kenyon Sadiq and Dylan Thieneman. More on that in a minute. But I think just so much about that depth development. There's no secret that teams that have a lot of first-round, second-round, third-round NFL draft picks are probably winning a lot of college football games, and Oregon's now in that conversation. And developmental opportunities like this, that's a big part of it.
Yeah, one area I'll say that I didn't talk about that I'm going to be watching, and we're not going to really know, I don't think, until fall, and that's the offensive line. Watching spring drills, I didn't know who was playing left tackle, left guard, right tackle. I mean, they're interchanging, and you want to build depth there. So who are the starters going to be? We probably know a couple of them. We know Poncho's back. That's the quarterback of that offensive line. But who else is going to be on the right side, left of him? And more importantly, who's going to be 2 and then 3, developing that. But it's going to be fall, maybe deep into fall, before we find out what that offensive line is going to be.
Yeah, how does that group come together quickly? Because we've seen it in years where the talent is there, but when do they gel? And do they get caught off guard early in the season against somebody that's a quality opponent before they've gelled? Boise State comes to town, first game right off the bat. And so they're going to get tested like they did 2 or 3 years ago when Idaho came to town. And you had Dylan Gabriel and all these great skill guys, but it was an offensive line that was still in the process of gelling and getting used to each other. And so how quickly they grow up. And again, what I love about the development of depth is those first-line guys, their bodies last longer when you can rotate guys in and not have any fall off. So that's why that depth is going to be a big part of it too.
And I think not only that, but there are a lot of guys that were not listed coming back as starters from last year, but got some significant playing time. I think in Fox Crater late in the season, how well he did. Bringing in Michael Bennett III, it's going to add. So I think the offensive line is going to be okay. Jurgen, to your point, I think how long it takes for them to come together is going to be really important.
M&M's. We're going to get a timeout. Got more to talk about.
I'm going to eat.
Gummy clusters. Gotta be the gummy clusters.
Yeah. You want one?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Buffalo chicken. We got a lot to cover. We're going to talk a little NFL draft, more spring game. Jerry and Jorgie are here. Sarge has fed us. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working at our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, he's like my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds. Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack, Jerry Allen, Mike Jorgensen in the Country Financial Studio. You know, I'm thinking back to when I first started doing the show with you guys, and every Friday you always found a way to eat something. And now
well, you make it easy. I'm just gonna say that.
Thank you.
No, but this is true when I wasn't hosting it. Like when I was a student and I'd come in and then it'd be like, oh yeah, hey, this is here. I'd be like, wow, this is great. So I'm saying, once upon a time, the wise student that came in on those Fridays was in fact me. I raised my hand in the air confidently and proudly.
A good student and now
it worked
teacher.
Out. That's right. It worked out.
And now teacher.
Oregon baseball and Oregon softball tonight at 6 o'clock. Hey, if you missed the news, Oregon and Oregon State, that game in Hillsboro was originally postponed. It has officially been canceled, unfortunately. Those of you who had tickets, really unfortunate with a player for Oregon State and Tyler Bellarose getting seriously hurt. Hope that he's going to make a recovery, but as a result, that game got postponed, and the two programs have not been able to find a date to make it up. So I will say, though, just from my chair, I hope that there's more of those sorts of matchups in Hillsboro, for example, in the Portland area, because they are fun for the baseball fans in this state.
Yeah, I mean, for baseball, I mean, football used to do the same thing.
Right.
Football traveled to Klamath Falls, to Medford, went in Portland, around the state, and it gives a chance for those fans that can't get here to see it. Baseball is great.
Really,
that would have been a great venue.
Would have been cool, but nonetheless, those of you who had tickets, more details are available on GoDucks.com. How about the NFL draft, guys? Kenyon Sadiq, second tight end in program history to be taken in the first round. He went to the Jets with the number 16 overall pick. Russ Francis, also the number 16 overall pick in 1975. Only Oregon tight ends ever taken in the first round. And isn't that amazing? Because I thought the same thing. I was having a conversation actually with a radio station in New York this morning about Kenyon. And one of the things I said is Oregon has consistently put tight ends in the NFL, right? The last 15 years, it's been pretty consistent. And so it even raised my eyebrows like, oh, none of those other guys were a first-round pick. That tells you how special Kenyon Sadiq is.
Well, he's a complete package. I mean, when we listened last night to them talk about everything he could do, his speed, his athleticism, he's just a beast. And it's going to be tough for NFL defenses, whether it be a linebacker or a safety, to cover the guy because as a tight end, he plays more like a big wide receiver. So very versatile. One of the best athletes I can remember seeing in my almost 40 years here.
Yeah. Can you imagine a young man from Idaho Falls, Idaho, going to New York?
There you go.
I mean, what a transformation. But, you know, the guys like Terrence Ferguson and some of the others saw it early. They saw it right off the bat with Kenyon Sadiq and the development of him from being just an H-back in the early stages where he was an athlete but not really a full-time blocker running the myriad of pass patterns and everything else. And what he developed into in a quick period of time, a very short period of time, is pretty amazing. So
he's going to be great.
Special.
He is going to be great. And with that pick, by the way, Oregon has now had at least one first-round pick in each of the last 7 NFL drafts. That's 7 straight NFL drafts where the Ducks have had a first-rounder. Back-to-back years as well with multiple first-round picks because Dylan Thieneman went number 25 to the Chicago Bears last night. Our guy Saul Galvan is a huge Bears fan, and no one is happier about Dylan Thieneman joining the Bears than OSN broadcast intern extraordinaire Saul Galvan. First time in program history that Oregon has had multiple first-round picks in back-to-back years. Pretty cool for Dylan Thieneman, a guy who came in and made an immediate impact. Everybody talked about his work ethic and big reason why he's in the NFL now.
Yeah, the work ethic. I mean, he's obviously athletically and intelligence-wise, but I cannot remember all the time I've been here, Jorgie, anybody that worked harder or longer to accomplish what he wanted. After practice, he's out there for hours. Didn't even go in and shower. Then after showering, he come out, work some more in the film room. I mean, he is a student of the game, and that's why he is where he is.
Yeah, studyholic, great instincts, unbelievable instincts, with the speed and the physicality to go with it. I mean, everything that he did, it seemed like to me when I would see him, the decisions he would make, the angles he would take on deep balls, on maybe somebody got loose outside, interception he made against Penn State, which was a very instinctual type of play, yet athletic. You're right, Jerry, to get up and make that interception. And just the suddenness and the violence that he arrives on a tackle. I mean, again, Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl was a perfect example of that. It almost felt like Caleb Downs against Oregon in the Rose Bowl when he and I don't think it was Whittington, it was Jordan James met in the hole. And it's just like, holy cow, you could hear it from 200 yards away, could hear the hit. That's the way he is. It just seems like he fits the Bears, too. I don't know why. There's certain defenses that are pretty good, and guys like this just fit into it. It just feels like that's one of them right there. So.
The Ducks hope to have a few more names called tonight, tomorrow. We'll talk about it on Duck Insider and on our spring game broadcast. Again, 1 o'clock. No pregame show for us with the spring game. We're jumping right in to some football action. To that note, we're going to hear from a couple more Oregon football coaches and student athletes today, which brings me to final thoughts for you guys. Unless you want to hang out and listen to some interviews, but I just want to know what else you guys want to see.
Well, I'm just going to hang out and finish eating. So
fair enough.
that's priority for me. Then I'll listen while I'm eating. Just have a fun day. The fans are going to show up. The weather is going to be just unbelievable for a spring game. Sarge talked about all the food available, so come hungry, get here early. Don't forget, don't be in your seats by 12:40. At the latest. You don't want to miss those fighters going over. That's going to be fun. And then seeing the new names, the new guys. Somebody's going to make a huge catch or an unbelievable collision tackle. So all those things that we are hoping to see, we're going to see some of those. We just don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah, just don't forget too. And again, I don't mean to pick out one guy because there's a lot of guys. Evan Stewart is back on the field.
He's back.
So all of a sudden you got DeCorian and Evan and Jeremiah McClellan and a whole bunch of guys in that room right there that are pretty darn good.
Jamari Johnson.
Jamari Johnson.
He's another
tight
Sadiq
end.
in my mind. He's another Sadiq.
Good luck guarding that group.
Yeah.
And covering that group. And, again, if you protect your quarterback up front, could be a really special offense. But, again, just really looking forward to everything that you see tomorrow and the continuity of the offense and the defense with different coordinators now. I mean, that's the other thing to think about is everybody's like, well, you got two different coordinators. Everything's going to change. No, those coaches were already there, so the continuity is pretty good. And I think that's really good for the players, too, which is why everything has flowed so smoothly because guys elevate, but it's still the same coaches.
What are you looking forward to seeing?
Oh, gosh, I was not expecting that. I was about to say we're going to hear from Chris Hampton and Drew Maringer, Jorgie with a championship-level tease right there, talking about those guys. For me, it always comes down to what the rotation looks like because, to your point, they divide the teams up kind of strategically, right? The coaches are going to put guys in different scenarios to try to see what they bring to the table. And so I like to see what the rotations are, in fact, right? And so to the point on Evan Stewart, DeCorian Moore, Evan Stewart, and Jeremiah McClellan all individually this spring said that they love the fact that all three of them can play pretty much every position in the wide receiver core. So I want to see things like that, what the rotation looks like and the versatility of the team. And then I just want to see everybody healthy. And then I want to see everybody at PK Park and at Jane Sanders Stadium because it's going to be an awesome
big
game.
Weekend.
Wow. Big weekend.
Okay. I'm going to eat.
Me too. Let's get a timeout. When we come back, Chris Hampton talking defense. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Friday, Toyota says let's put good times in gear with the Tundra, Tacoma, and 4Runner. Want some cool available features? We've got power tailgates to power game days and a trailer backup guide that's the champ of the ramp. Heck, we might even cancel Monday. Toyota trucks. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my heart in home.
We're back at the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. While the guys eat lunch, you get a show as well. Chris Hampton, the Duck Defensive Coordinator. There's gummy clusters. Getting ready for the spring game with the Duck DC, Chris Hampton.
You learned that you didn't necessarily expect to learn stuff that you had to learn on the job that you couldn't necessarily prepare for.
Not really. You know, I've done this job before at a different school, different universities, so I don't think there was anything that, I wasn't prepared for. Every day's a new day. There's always something that comes up that you can get better at as a coach each and every year, each and every day. So that's a continuing process, but I don't think there was anything just major that I wasn't prepared for.
Obviously, this defense returns a ton of experience and talent. I'm wondering, looking at this iteration of the Oregon defense, what has stood out to you most in these last couple of weeks?
I think our connection as a group, I think I really enjoy coaching these guys each and every day. I think they cheer for each other. They play hard for one another. They play hard for the coaches, for all the coaches on defense. So I've been impressed with the connection of the group. There's not any selfishness, and that's hard in today's game of college football. But everybody seems to be pulling on one accord, cheering for one another, and happy for the guy beside them when they have success.
Dan was saying on Saturday that the spring game is going to be as close to a real game as possible, that you guys can make it. What are you evaluating for? How do you evaluate a spring game? What are the important traits that you hope to see your defense show on Saturday?
Yeah, I just want to see us go out there and play fast. Go out there and play fast, play physical, play the way that we've been coached to play. Not do anything crazy, anything that you didn't do in practice. Don't do it now because there's a crowd out there. So you want to see guys go out there and just play fast, play physical, and honestly have fun. This game is fun, and we talk about that, and we want the guys to go out there and fun, enjoy the moment, and embrace it.
Coach, you've now had a dozen or so practices to assess some of the newcomers. There's a bunch of them. I won't ask you to go through them name by name, but what kind of some of your early, assessments of those guys?
The newcomers have done a great job, man. This is a fantastic group. The high school guys and the transfers, they've gotten acclimated. They're adjusting to the culture here. They're asking great questions. They're doing a lot of bonus meetings. They're eager to learn. They work extremely hard. They're selfless, and so I like all the guys that we brought in. I really do. I really enjoy coaching these guys, the newcomers, the older guys. I think we have like I said earlier, connected group and a group that I think is going to be fun to watch.
How much do you guys as a coaching staff look at trends around the country or stuff at the NFL level, like in terms of like the Seahawks win the Super Bowl while running a 70-80% nickel defense, which you guys had some elements last year with Dylan, or teams placing the emphasis on the D-line depth, which Coach Tudioti was talking about as well. How much do you guys look at that stuff when you're trying to figure out how you want to approach things as a coaching staff?
Every year you're looking to get better. That's a great question. My first year here, we were probably primarily 4-down outside leverage nickel team. My second year, we had Derek Harmon, Jamari Caldwell, Jordan Birch. We were more of a 3-down inside leverage nickel team. Last season, we had Dylan Thienen. We were more of a 4-down umbrella safety team. And I think this year we just see how it pans out. I think you always think about who are your best players. How do you highlight their strengths? How you hide their deficiencies? And you look around the country to see what other people are doing with guys similar to your skill sets, similar to your talents. What's the new trend in college football? In the NFL. So each and every year you're looking to grow, and we looking to expand our defense.
With
2 scrimmages down as you guys prepare for the spring game. Where have you seen the most improvement from this year's defense, and what do you hope to see within this last week leading up to the spring game?
I think a big emphasis for us has been improving in the red area. We weren't very good there last season. Can we improve in the red area? Can we improve in third down? So each and every day that we do it, we chart it. And I think we've made strides there in practice for sure. Understanding, the down and distance, the field zone, that's a big piece. And so we started off, I think, practice 1 or 2 in the red area, and we've kind of did something in the red area each and every day for the most part. So that's been a big emphasis of us is being better in the red area, and I think we've kind of attacked that as a staff and as a unit.
You're somebody with experience as a coordinator, but there's a lot of younger coaches on this staff who've been elevated, who've gotten more opportunities in recent years. What do you make of Coach Lanning's willingness to do that, and then the sort of roster of young coaches that's starting to get built around the country?
Yeah, I think he trusts guys. I think it proves that if you come here and you work hard, you do a good job, you can get elevated. There's a quote: God doesn't call the qualified; He qualifies the called to do a job. And I think Coach Lanning, if he sees a guy's qualified to do a job, I'm not saying he's God, but he'll promote a guy. So it may be even in my situation, there may be a guy that was a more sexier pick. A guy that, on the outside may have seemed more qualified to do the job, but, it's a reason that you get the opportunity.
You haven't been here the entire Lanning era, but you've been here for several years now. I'm curious, this program as a whole, from the first year you got here to where it is now going into the spring game, where do you think it's grown and developed the most and kind of just set itself up for success?
Man, this place grows every year. I think a lot of the support staff, we have a tremendous support staff, that a lot of you guys may not really know. Carl Holmes, Usman Kamara, our player development team, our strength and conditioning team with Cal Bolton, in the speed department, athletic training. I think that the place has really grown, and I think it's a tight community. There's not anyone bigger than the other. There's no job too small or no job too big for anyone to do. And so I think this place has really grown. It's like the support staff has grown and how we're able to put the players first and give them the best service possible.
I asked Coach Maringer about just how they've been able to implement those Monarch machines over the last couple of years, and I'm just curious from the defensive perspective.
Correct.
How often are you guys using them?
Yeah, so we talked about that at our first scrimmage that we left a lot of opportunities on the field, dropped some passes, dropped some interceptions, whatever the case may be. And those guys are really attacking it. Like I just left off the field. I was after Coach Maringer, and there's a lot of guys out there on the Monarch now getting work in. Carl Holmes, Carl Williams. Carl Holmes works in player development. Carl Williams gets 300 catches a day, right? And so hopefully that pays off for him. But I know he does 300 every day, 7 days a week. And so the guys are really attacking it. And each week we look at it and say who's the first number 1 team in the country and doing it. And so most weeks it's us. Some weeks we aren't, but then we push our guys. Hey, we weren't the number 1 team in the country and using the Monarch. You can chart it. And so that's a goal for us each and every week is to be the number 1 team in the country on the Monarch. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. Maybe it's a secret. But
Thursday, Friday, Saturday is going to be days where Duck players are going to get their names called. One of your position players, Dylan's there, and you're going to have multiple guys on defense. Just what's this week lead up to and the feelings around it and just the excitement and what that's going to mean for you guys?
I mean, for me, it's personally, this is the greatest joy I get as a coach when I see these goals reach their goals and aspirations. That's really why I coach, right? How can I help these guys get to where they want to go? And so to see Dylan get his name called and a bunch of other guys, hopefully Jaden Kennedy, we've got a bunch of players, Bryce Betcher, get their name called, man, it brings me joy. And I'm actually going. He's invited me to go with him to Pittsburgh, so it'd be my first time in the green room. I'm fired up. Coach Bolton, Cal Bolton and I are both going. We're leaving here on Wednesday, heading to Pittsburgh to see him, so hopefully he gets his name called early in round 1.
Coach, you mentioned Carl a moment ago, and what's going on at nickel? Who are some of the names to know there? What's the competition been like, I guess?
We've got a bunch of guys working there. We really do, man. We rotate a lot of different players. Carl's definitely doing it. Davon Benjamin's doing it. Zach Grisham's doing it. Brandon Finney's doing it. Peyton Woodyard is doing it. So there's a bunch of guys that work. Naeem Offord, he's working there. Azel Banag, new freshman, he's doing it. So we've got a lot of guys playing it. It's a staple of our defense of playing a lot of nickel like you asked about earlier. So Jaden was a really good nickel for us last season. So we've got big shoes to fill there with him. But we've got a lot of guys, and I think they've grown tremendously from practice 1 until now.
That's Chris Hampton. I was miraculously able to keep up with Jerry eating sliders. I've got one left.
You have.
And Jerry's got one left. And I don't know how, but I am hurting right now after I ate that fast.
I am too.
Oh, man.
Jorgie's taking a couple of bites.
I got 3 left.
He's
I got
halfway
into
through his
nerds.
bag of nerd gummy
Yeah, these are the
clusters.
nerds.
I mean,
That's priorities.
Hey, Oregon track and field. Penn relays are going on right now. The men just won the DMR at the Penn Relay, which is one of the biggest events outside of the national championship. The Penn Relays, to get the big wagon wheel. No word yet if the Ducks will be able to get the wagon wheel home on the plane. We'll have to find out. Don't worry, it'll come home.
It'll get here.
Yeah, it'll get here.
Yeah.
Timeout. We're going to come back, talk offense with Drew Maringer on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now, so good to see you real.
Both Diamond teams in action at home at 6 o'clock tonight. And we've got Oregon football spring game tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We just heard from Chris Hampton. I'm Joey Mack along with Jerry Allen and Mike Jorgensen today. Let's hear from Drew Maringer. Talk about tight end you. Hey, he's a big reason that Kenyon Sadiq went in the first round. Drew Maringer is now elevated to the offensive coordinator. Drew Maringer at the podium.
Just curious, from day one of spring ball to now, I mean, you're first as an offensive coordinator. Are there things that you learned that you didn't think you kind of had to learn on the job, you couldn't really prepare for, that you've learned over the past few weeks?
I think that once you start playing with a real play clock, because you play the first few practices and play clock's really not going on out there, and when you start playing with the play clock, the sense of urgency. It's like the difference playing chess and speed chess, So, yeah, I think that the willingness to grow and teach yourself how to think faster and get in and out of situations in your brain, and also understanding who's on the field and who's not. That part's always challenging.
Being able to see this offense over the last few weeks, in its current iteration, still very early. What do you make of the explosive potential of this group, given all the weapons around Dante?
There's certainly a lot of good players, and I think that the biggest thing for us as an offense is it's got to start up front, right? There are a bunch of skill guys, right? But the offensive line has to play at a high level and has for us since I've been here. And one of the reasons that we've had success, our ability to be able to run the ball and stay ahead of the chains. So I think it starts there, and I think that we got good leadership in Poncho. So we have to continue to develop that and cultivate that, right, to allow those guys to go make plays for us.
A couple weeks ago, Coach Lanning was saying that the team as a whole was maybe collectively, from a knowledge perspective, ahead of last year's team. I'm curious kind of how that's showing up in install and kind of how far you think you are in terms of getting everything in for spring.
It's a funny balance and a funny question of, yes, we could continue to install, right? But as you put in more new things, right, well, you have to sacrifice something, and that's generally like details, technique, fundamentals. And so I do think that we are ahead mentally of where we were, and we've got to refine, especially with some of the guys that are new faces around this organization, the details and fundamentals of how we execute it, not just a deluge of scheme here.
Dante was saying that you guys met when you got the full-time job to talk about like what he wanted to keep in the offense and stuff like that. And you were saying that it's not Drew Maringer's offense, it's the Oregon offense, something that Dan was saying as well. So what do you value about that collaborative process with the players like Dante? And then what does the idea of the Oregon offense mean to you?
A lot there. So I think the guy with the ball, right, you have to see the game through his lens, right? It's a square peg, round hole type discussion here, right? And I think for us, what are we trying to do? We're trying to put our players in the best positions possible, right? But make sure that they see the game the same way that we do. And really, do we see the game the same way that they do? And if there needs to be growth, right, it can happen on both sides. So I do think the collaborative effort is one of the things I talked about with Bo Nix. I was like, if you were in this situation right now at quarterback, what would you want? This is my plan. And he was very complimentary on that idea. And I think it's been good. We've tweaked a few things and given Dante some things that I think help him see things. And so I think I'll probably do that every year. Because every iteration of the offense will be a little bit different just because personnel changes.
Saturday, Dan said he wants the scrimmage to be as close to a game as possible, a real game, and certain situations that you'll want to work through. What are you hoping to get out of it? What are you hoping to see so that you can evaluate it correctly, and from a player perspective, and also from your spot in the booth or up downstairs, and the corresponding guys behind you, and how that all falls into place?
Yeah, I think we're all evaluating every detail. We've had 2 scrimmages. I was better the second time than I was the first time, and I think that's having some self-awareness and evaluating the same way, evaluating myself, our staff, the same way that we do players. Right? Was this good? Why or why not? And not just evaluating the result, but evaluating the process of how it got there. So we made tweaks, and we were better in the second scrimmage. From the players, I think that we're looking to see, can we play sound, clean, fundamental football, right? Are we? We're trying to see who can come out and is kind of set the foundation for us to come into the fall. Like, are any depth charts set? No, but I do think that you're looking to see like where guys are growing, what their potential is, and what they need to attack moving into the off season. On top of, are we trying to trick the defense trying to trick us? No, not none of that. Just go out and play good football.
Talking about the 2 scrimmages that you guys have already had, this past Saturday, Coach Lanning talked about wanting to see a little more ball security from the offensive side. Where have you seen the most growth from your offense from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2, and what do you hope to see leading up to the spring game?
We had a couple ball in jeopardy type of throws in this past scrimmage, but in the first scrimmage we had very loose ball security, I thought, from all of our skill players, which was a lot better in the second scrimmage. It's still the old adage of explosive plays and turnovers are the 2 key and defining statistics for winning football games. So that part's been better. We got to make a couple better decisions in the quarterback room, but you don't want to coach aggression out of people either, right? You just want to make sure that we're playing calculated, right, and that we have our opportunities, we take them, right, but we don't put the ball in jeopardy and give the opponent a chance to win.
I know you guys have had those Monarch machines for a couple of years now, but on the most recent Meet the Flock video, I saw Jordan talking about just getting extra work in on those, and I'm just curious for the guys who aren't traditionally just catching balls all practice, how beneficial has those machines been for you guys, and just kind of how's your overall view on kind of added technology been to practice?
So there's a lot of added technology nowadays to practice, right? Helmet, if you're out of practice, you'll see sometimes the quarterbacks have like little GoPros and things like that, which is great because you can hear communication at the line of scrimmage. I can hear what the center is saying. I can hear how the quarterback's communicating. The Monarch especially, I think that when we got it, it felt just like a fancy jugs machine. And credit to Coach Lanning, he really pushed the idea of the utilization of that machine. And I think that we see dividends from that. And it's the variety of throws that it can do, I think, helps. So I made the point today, we had a drop pass in the scrimmage, and I was like, that wasn't one thrown right at you. There was one that was thrown outside the framework of your body. So what do you think you should be doing on the Monarch? The cool thing about the Monarch, too, is you can be by yourself, right? But a lot of those guys, in the culture that we're trying to create is like, if you're going, bring somebody else with you. And so if you're a tight end, how many balls are you going to catch? If you're a running back, how many balls are you going to catch in a practice? Like, you need to supplement that somewhere else, right? And not just ones right at you, but more difficult ones, and get reps at that, because we all get better at the things we practice.
Is there one set up where guys can just come in and get reps somewhere?
Yeah, it's parked in the indoor, right? It comes out to practice, but it's parked in the indoor for most of the time.
There was a fine line between not showing too much in a spring game and showing enough or running enough to make sure that you feel comfortable that your guys know what they're doing. Now, as the play caller, how do you kind of walk that line going into the spring game?
Yeah, I think that by and large, right, most of the plays that get run, somebody has some version of that play, right? Especially with PFF, excuse me, PFF and all this other stuff. You can watch, any game that you want to. You can watch any offense, whether it's in college, in the NFL, doesn't matter. So, does everybody run inside zone, right? Not everybody runs outside zone, but a lot of people run outside zone, right? Does everybody run counter? Somebody's got some version of that. So does everybody run 4 verticals or snack 7 flat? Yeah. So I think that, again, going back to the concept of the spring game, right? It's like, who can go out there and just play quality football for us, right? And why do you call those kinds of plays? They're all-purpose plays. They're generally pretty good. And is there maybe a perfect call? Yeah, but that's not what you're trying to get to.
You talked about, continuing competition at different positions, and, also the offensive line being a key factor in the offense's success. How does that competition look right now among the offensive line? And are you starting to identify those guys that are rising to the top?
I think there's a lot of competition, and there's been some guys that have been here that are chomping at the bit. They're looking for their opportunity, and I think there's some young guys in there that have shown, hey, these guys can do some things. So I don't think that we'll know the answer to that probably until the middle of August of what we think the 5 are going to be. You go back even to Josh Connerly's freshman year, he was the 6th, and he's pretty good. So I think that we'll see. I think the competition in that room and the competition at any position is healthy. And if you're not actively cultivating competition, then I think human nature, you take a seat back or a step back right now. You're not pushing the same way that you do. So I think the way that Coach Lanning has practice set up does that. And it lets you know, you're going to get a ton of reps, and we're going to see what you can and cannot do. And I think at this point, too, where you need to grow and what we need to work on.
Drew Maringer, Oregon offensive coordinator.
I love stuff. I love Coach Drew.
I'm looking forward
like everything
to,
about him.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to seeing what the offense looks like. It's going to be fun. You're going to see some of it tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Final break. We're going to come back, and Jorgie's going to finish off those gummy clusters next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
If you build a relationship, then it becomes easier. If you build trust, it becomes easier. As a parent, you want what's best for your child. To give them the love that a child needs is probably the best you can do for a teenager.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt U.S. Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Update on the sauce total. So we started out with 6 of each: mustard, ketchup, ranch, barbecue, 24 total sauces. And we've only lost 2 ranches, 2 barbecues, and a ketchup so far with our efforts today.
Yeah, mustard's for a hot dog, okay?
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, okay, so
that's
why
don't
it's
put it
lagging
on the
behind.
buffalo chicken slider. I understand.
No.
So, but if anyone is in need of any sauces, we might have you covered.
GoDucks.com / put your credit card number in there and we'll ship them to you.
He literally brought it up in a bucket. I mean, it's yeah, that's a nice water jug right there. Joey Mack, Jerry Allen, Mike Jorgensen. Awesome. 1 o'clock, we'll be on the air with kickoff shortly after for the Oregon football spring game. It is a practice, but it's a practice that does mean a little bit more whether coaches want it to or not, because things change when a bunch of people are watching you, right?
Well, no doubt. I mean, and for the freshmen, this is the first time that there's like 40,000 or more people in here. Wow, I've never seen a crowd like this.
How about a spring game though?
You're right though. 40,000 people. When the lights, camera, and action goes, things change.
Different.
Yeah, even a spring game.
Tonight, Oregon baseball, Oregon softball, Penn relays continue. Congratulations to the DMR team of the men of Oregon, bringing home that Penn relay. Good luck to Oregon acrobatics, tumbling, women's golf, all kinds of events this weekend. We'll see you at PK and the Jane and Autzen.
You say you never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, know it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car